You're attached to someone who hurts you. You know they're bad for you. Everyone around you knows they're bad for you. But you can't let go. Wait. You keep going back, making excuses, hoping this time will be different. And every time, it ends the same way. You're confused because you think this feeling means love. It doesn't. It's emotional attachment. And your brain is lying to you. I'm about to explain emotional attachment in the simplest terms possible, why your brain confuses it with love, the psychological mechanism that keeps you trapped, and how to break the cycle. If you've ever asked yourself why you can't leave someone who clearly doesn't value you, this is your answer. Here's what most people get wrong. They think attachment and love are the same thing. They're not. Love is a choice. Attachment is a neurological response. Love is built on respect, trust, shared values, and mutual growth. Attachment is built on familiarity, unpredictability, and emotional intensity. You can be deeply attached to someone you don't even like. That's the trap. Attachment forms through repeated exposure and emotional highs and lows. Your brain doesn't attach to stability. It attaches to intensity. Someone who is always kind, always available, always consistent, your brain registers them as safe, but not exciting. Someone who is hot and cold, present then distant, loving then cruel. Your brain gets addicted to the unpredictability because it triggers the same reward circuits as gambling. Let me explain the mechanism. When someone is inconsistent, your brain enters a state of intermittent reinforcement. Sometimes they're amazing. Sometimes they ignore you. Sometimes they love you. Sometimes they hurt you. Sometimes. You never know which version you're getting. This unpredictability spikes dopamine every time they show affection, because your brain has learned affection is rare and unpredictable. Consistent affection doesn't spike dopamine the same way. If someone is always kind, your brain adapts. It expects kindness. Kindness becomes baseline, not reward. But if someone is cruel 70 of the time and kind 30 of the time, that 30 feels like winning the lottery. Your brain releases massive dopamine during those moments because they're unexpected. You get addicted to the highs, not the person. This is why you stay with people who treat you terribly. It's not because you love them. It's because your brain is chemically addicted to the rare moments they treat you well. You're not hoping they'll change. You're chasing the next dopamine hit, and your brain will convince you that chasing feeling is love. It's not. It's attachment. Here's the difference. Love makes you feel calm, secure, and valued consistently. Attachment makes you feel anxious, desperate, and like you're constantly trying to earn something. Love is, I'm safe with you. Attachment is, I can't lose you. Love is built on trust. Attachment is built on fear. If you feel more anxiety than peace in a relationship, it's attachment, not love. Now let's talk about why you return to people who hurt you. Return to people who hurt you. Your brain has associated that person with emotional intensity. Even when you leave, even when you logically know they're bad for you, your brain remembers the highs. It craves the intensity. Calm, healthy relationships feel boring because your brain has been conditioned to associate love with chaos. This is why people leave toxic relationships and immediately feel drawn back. It's not because they realize they made a mistake. It's because their brain is in withdrawal. No chaos means no intensity, means no dopamine spikes. Your brain interprets this as something is missing. It tells you that you miss them, that maybe it wasn't that bad, that maybe you overreacted. You didn't. Your brain just wants the drug back. Here's where it gets worse. Toxic people know how to exploit this. They don't treat you terribly 100 of the time. If they did, you'd leave and never look back. They treat you terribly most of the time, then give you just enough affection to keep you hooked. An apology, a sweet text, one good day, just enough to reset the cycle. You think, see, they do care. No, they just gave you another hit. This pattern is called trauma bonding. You bond to someone not despite the pain, but because of it. The pain makes the relief feel more intense. The worse they treat you, the better the good moments feel by contrast. Your brain starts associating relief from pain with love. You confuse "they stopped hurting me temporarily" with "they love me." They don't. They're just cycling you. Let me give you a concrete example. You're dating someone who ignores your texts for days, then suddenly sends a paragraph about how much they miss you. You feel relief, excitement, validation. That's the dopamine spike. Your brain doesn't register "they ignored me for 3 days." It registers "they finally responded. I feel good now." The inconsistency is the drug. The highs only feel high because the lows are so low. Now compare that to a healthy relationship. Someone texts you consistently. You never wonder where you stand. You feel secure. There's no dramatic relief because there's no dramatic pain. Your brain doesn't spike dopamine because there's no unpredictability. If you've been conditioned by toxic attachment, this feels boring. You misinterpret stability as lack of passion. You're wrong. You've just confused chaos with chemistry. Here's the brutal truth. If you can't let go of someone who hurts you, you're not in love. You're in withdrawal. Your brain is chemically dependent on the intensity they provide. And until you understand that, you'll keep going back, making excuses, convincing yourself this time will be different. It won't. The cycle doesn't break until you starve it. So how do you break emotional attachment? First, you have to accept it's not love. That's the hardest part. You have to stop romanticizing the pain. Stop telling yourself the highs are worth the lows. They're not. You're not a deep, complex person for staying. You're a person whose brain is stuck in a dopamine loop. Second, you have to go no contact. Not the first "I'll just text less." Not "we can still be friends." Full no contact. Delete their number. Block them on everything. Remove every access point. Your brain can't detox if you keep giving it small hits. You have to cut the supply completely. Third, you have to sit in the withdrawal. It's going to feel terrible. You're going to miss them. You're going to convince yourself you made a mistake. You're going to want to reach out. Don't. That feeling isn't love. It's your brain screaming for dopamine. It will pass. Usually in 2 to 3 weeks, the intensity drops. In 2 to 3 months, the attachment weakens significantly. In 6 months, you'll look back and wonder why you stayed so long. Fourth, you have to rebuild your baseline. Your brain has associated love with chaos. You need to recondition it to associate love with stability. That means being alone for a while. Not jumping into another relationship. Not finding someone new to attach to. Actually being alone, letting your nervous system calm down, relearning what peace feels like. Here's what happens when you do this correctly. After a few months of no contact, you'll start noticing things. You'll realize how much anxiety you were carrying. You'll notice you're sleeping better. You'll catch yourself not checking your phone every 5 minutes. You'll feel lighter. That's your brain detoxing from the attachment. And then one day, you'll think about them and feel nothing. Not anger, not longing, nothing. That's when you know you're free. The attachment is broken. They're just a person now. Not a drug, not a need. Just someone you used to know who you're glad you left. Here's my challenge to you. If you're attached to someone who hurts you, admit it's attachment, not love. Stop calling it complicated. Stop romanticizing the pain. It's a neurological loop, and you have the power to break it. Go no contact. Sit in the discomfort. Give it 3 months. Then decide if you still think they were worth it. I guarantee you won't. Because once your brain detoxes from the chaos, you'll see them clearly. And you'll realize you weren't in love. You were trapped. Now you're free. Subscribe for more brutally honest psychology that explains why you do the things you do. Drop a comment telling me how long you stayed with someone you knew was bad for you. Let's see who's been stuck the longest.